Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be discussing my early transfer plans ahead of GW28. I'm using my free hit in 29, so I've got a bit more flexibility with my transfers, but there are still so many options. So I will discuss my transfer targets and also talk about how my team is getting on so far. As I'm filming, there is a dog scratching on the door, but also the Arsenal game is currently happening. So I haven't yet got my results for Saliba and Saka, but we know where the rest of the team is. It's in pretty good shape, so let's get straight into it. The team review, right, we are still in the top 300k. I don't know why, I just seem to stagnate between 320 and 360. We're at 336 at the moment, so we're on a small green arrow. I've got 65 points as it stands, but Arsenal are absolutely walloping Sheffield United. They're 4-0 up already. So far, we haven't had a Saka goal, which is disappointing. But Jacob Kiwior, completely butchered the pronunciation. I recommended him in last week's video, so I'm really glad to see that he got an assist this week. Obviously I didn't bring him in, but it was a nice recommendation nonetheless. So I've got 1,624 points overall. I've got 2 free transfers going into this game week because I did roll my transfer last game week, and I've got 1.6 million in the bank. So let's start with the goalkeepers. Normally, this isn't really much of a conversation topic. I just give myself a pat on the back if I've chosen the keeper that obviously got the most points out of my 2, or just move on swiftly. This week's a weird one. Dubravka, very happy. Newcastle actually kept a clean sheet for once. He came away with 7 points. Under normal circumstances, this would be something to celebrate. However, Areola, 13 points, penalty save, 3 bonus points. I think he went on to make 8 saves throughout the match as well. 13 in total is absolutely ridiculous. 1.96 million managers benched him. So at least I wasn't on my own. I think more than half of managers that owned him actually put him on the bench. I did have him starting in my early team, and I have proof. If you watch my Q&A with Ellie, he was there in the starting 11, and then my team selection I went for Dubravka instead. Not quite sure the logic of doubling up on Newcastle defence when they have been very poor defensively. Obviously, clean sheet was really good. We'll get to Trippier though, because that was a bit disappointing. So Ake, unfortunately, City conceded that early goal to Rashford. And it annoys me sometimes when teams concede. I'd rather you just got battered, just concede 2 or 3, whereas just 1, you're like, oh, so close to a clean sheet. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. At least Ake started though, because if you look at my bench, I have no other benching options. Saliba, currently, Arsenal do have a clean sheet, but we will see what happens there. And then Trippier, so typical that he came off early when Newcastle actually kept a clean sheet. He only played 51 minutes, and now that injury is something that we have to look at. But I think Trippier, for the amount of money he is and the returns he's getting, it's not really worth it. So he will be coming out of my team this game week. And then we come to the midfield. I almost benched Palmer, and I'm, no offence to Hwang, obviously very, very sad that he's injured and it's a massive loss, and I was excited to have him as an asset in my team. But Palmer got an assist, and that would have been on my bench otherwise. So 5 points from Palmer. And then Foden, thank goodness I now own him. 2 goals and 3 bonus points, taking him to a total of 15. At what point are we going to start discussing captaining Foden after Haaland? Because he's just doing so well. He started every game this season. He seems immune from Pep Roulette. Really, really nice asset to have. So glad to have him in my team. If you can hear scratching, it is a dog. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I had to take a quick pause there while the dogs were going wild. Saka, currently playing, hasn't had a return so far, but I'm hoping that something will come fairly soon. Maybe even live. Who knows? Might have a live reaction. And then Gordon, never doubt him at home. He scored a goal and he kept a clean sheet for an extra point, taking him to 8 points in total. Tony has been so disappointing. I thought this was the week that we were going to see some returns from him. Unfortunately not. Another 2-pointer from him. He was a punt that didn't pay off, and I kind of feel like I'm a bit behind now with the Solanke transfer. Obviously, I thought Tony was going to give me the edge and we'd be smiling and laughing with all these hauls, but that did not happen. But at least I gave it a go. It was fun, and now Solanke will be coming in. Tony might come back at some point. Brentford do have some nice fixtures. And then Watkins, a complete contrast to Tony. So reliable. What a player he is. He scored twice against Luton. He's now on 183 points in total. He's already beaten his score from last year, which was 175. So this season, Watkins is just seems to be unstoppable. And if he carries on this trajectory, I think I should start considering him for captaincy. And then that does bring me to my captain, Haaland. If you watched my previous video, I went into detail about Watkins, Haaland or Saka for captaincy. I went with Haaland because it was just the safest option. Bit of a disappointing one, but he did score a goal, so at least we did get an attacking return there. I had very high hopes as he got 23 points in the same fixture last season. Unfortunately, we didn't have as much of a haul this season, but again, still grateful for that goal. And then the bench, Areola we've already discussed. Estupinian, another one that I just need to get rid of and bring out of my team. Hwang is injured, so I'm going to have to deal with him as well. And then obviously Pinnock is also injured. So we're in quite a dangerous territory here where I just have no bench cover at the moment. But now I will get into my top transfers for this upcoming game week. These are 3 players that I am quite tempted to transfer in. They're not actually my transfer targets for this upcoming game week. We'll get to those in a minute, but I thought I would discuss them anyway because they're going to be quite popular picks. And then we've also got Elanga, who's probably a bit out there, but I'm going to make a case for him. So first up, we have got Neto. I would love to go for Neto, but I feel like I'm okay with my goalkeeper situation. Whatever I do will probably be for a hit as well. And I'm a bit nervous about doing that for a hit. Plus he's blanking in 29, although I am free hitting, so it doesn't really affect me too much. But those fixtures, Sheffield United and Luton at home, are so lovely. He's absolutely nailed to start. He's had 12 bonus points this season, and he's also the 5th highest scoring goalkeeper this season with 90 points, which is only 9 points below the top scoring keeper, Areola. He's picked up joint second most bonus points out of all goalkeepers with 12 in total, and he's just 1 point behind Leno. So I think he could be a really nice fix, and that's that extra route into points. Not only is there the clean sheet potential, especially for these upcoming fixtures, but that route with the bonus points is quite tempting. So Neto is one. If I wasn't free hitting in 29, I'd probably go for him. But unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I can. But I do think he's a really good option. And then we have got Elanga, 5.1 million, only owned by 1.5% of managers. He's playing Brighton, Luton and Palace in the next 3. I know for a fact he will be coming into my free hit team. And one of the reasons that I want to free hit in 29 is obviously it's not the most appealing players or appealing teams, but I have such a soft spot for Forest, and Langer is one that I've just wanted to own, but I've been really happy with my midfield. So now's my excuse. He's had 7 big chances in the past 4 game weeks, and he's had the most attacking returns out of all Nottingham Forest players with 5 goals and 7 assists in total. Obviously, they've had Awoniyi out injured, and Morgan Gibbs-White as well is one that's just been a bit disappointing this season, whereas Elanga has just, he's really impressed me, almost as much as Chris Wood that game week. He got the hat-trick, but Elanga seems to have a bit more consistency. He is slightly all over the place, and they've only won 1 game in the past 4, but Forest have had some really tough fixtures recently, coming up against Liverpool, Villa, Newcastle, but this is turning, and as we can see, the next 3 are really appealing, and then they go on to Fulham as well, plus they don't blank in 29, so if you are looking for a midfield option that you want to bring in, you're not free hitting in 29, I think Elanga's a really nice one, and for that price point as well, you can put him on the bench. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I think he is definitely capable of returns, and he's the best Forest asset to go for. And then we have got Doty. Everyone seems to own Doty. I know his ownership's only at 9.5%, but on FPL Twitter, I feel like everyone has him, and he's one. I'm still 50-50. I will come to my transfers in a second, but Doty may make it in there. And again, if you're not planning to free hit, he also plays in game week 29. But the upcoming fixtures, they've got Crystal Palace and they've got Bournemouth away. I really am quite nervous not to have him in. He's had 8 assists and 1 goal this season, which is crazy value for a player at 4.7 million. I'm planning to take out Trippier this week and buy a cheaper defender, and I am tempted to do Trippier to Doty. For comparison, Trippier is 6.9 million and has had 10 assists and 1 goal. So I think it's worth the price cut going down to Doty. I've also become very disillusioned with Newcastle's defence, but you will know that if you have watched my recent videos. But Luton have obviously got the double. They don't blank in 29. They'll play Forest at home, which is a nice fixture for them. So I really like the look of Doty. And again, he may be coming into my team, but I'm not 100% there yet. So going into the transfers that I think I'm most likely to make. No surprises here, are there? So Solanke first up, he's a no-brainer transfer. I've been quite lucky in not owning him for the last 2 game weeks because he's only had 4 points in total. Obviously, there was the fitness concerns ahead of the Burnley fixture, but he was in the starting 11 and he played 88 minutes, I think it was. But prior to that, he's played the full 90. He's absolutely nailed to start. He's on penalties. He's just a really good asset to have. He has been quite disappointing in recent game weeks, especially the Burnley fixture. He only had 1 shot and obviously didn't get any returns whatsoever, but I'm quite relieved at the time of not being a Solanke owner. But I think I'm very likely to be doing Tony to Solanke this game week, and also I really want to chase that Sheffield United Luton double that is coming up because it's such a nice one for Bournemouth. And then we have got Zabani, 4.4 million, 0.6% ownership, a really nice transfer from Trippier down to Zabani. Gives me a bit more money to then make the transfer over to Son. Senesi was my first choice, but he's a massive doubt now after picking up a hamstring injury. He only played 11 minutes in their game against Burnley, so it's not looking very good at the moment. And I'm quite glad that I did put that transfer off. It was going to be for a -4 last game week. I thought I would hold out, especially as he was on 8 yellow cards. I was going to see if he was going to pick up any yellow cards in the Burnley fixture and then reassessed ahead of the double. But as it stands, it looks as though he's probably not going to be playing. So I'm going to go for Zabani. He's a nice asset to go for. He doesn't necessarily have the attacking potential that Doty has. He's got a very low XG of 0.02. I think he's quite a nice player to have on rotation. He's now able to play the full 90 for both fixtures. So hopefully we can get the clean sheet there, and I won't have high expectations of getting anything really above that. So I'm not necessarily expecting fireworks from him, but I think whilst I won't have the attacking potential from Trippier in recent game weeks hasn't been that great anyway. And he also went off at 51 minutes in the Wolves fixture with a calf injury. So I think Zabani might just be a nice one to bring in, have him on bench rotation until I wildcard and not overthink too much. But I do panic a little bit about Doty with that attacking potential as a comparison. But I just prefer Bournemouth's fixtures, Sheffield United and Luton. I see more chance of clean sheets in those two. But I don't know, it's very close between the two of them. So I will make a decision by my team selection video at the end of the week. And then of course we have got Son. I thought I'd escaped missing out on points in the recent fixture, but he scored a late goal and Spurs ended up winning 3-1 against Palace. It was his 13th goal of the season. Son is one that I've been very nervous about not owning, and this has actually been his highest scoring game week since coming back from international duty. He got 7 points in total. In the past 3 game weeks, he's had 1 goal and 1 assist, but I'm really keen to get him into my team as soon as possible, and especially after I missed out on that 17-pointer way back in the season. I think it was game week 16 against Newcastle. Absolutely kicking myself over it, so I do want to bring Son back in as soon as I can. I got quite lucky this game week, I think, that he didn't return more. He had 4 shots in the box and he was presented with 2 big chances. So I will take the goal, then I will be transferring him into my team for a -4. So now let's have a look at what my team is shaping up to look like for the upcoming game week. So this is how we are. I am on the greatest website ever, FPL team. So I'll have Dubravka in goal. Oh no, I won't. It's already wrong. I will have Areola in goal for that Burnley fixture. Then in my defence, I'm going to go for Saliba. Obviously Brentford at home, quite a nice fixture. And at the moment, Arsenal are absolutely dominating the game, 5-0 to Sheffield United. And then I'm going to go for Zabani. I've got the really nice double there. And then Ake against Liverpool, a little bit worried that he may be benched. There may be some rotation going on, but that is for future me to worry about. Then in midfield, I've got Son, Foden, Saka, Palmer. That means that I will be benching Gordon, but he's playing Chelsea away. I think for my own sanity as a Chelsea fan, it's probably quite nice just not to have him in the team. But also his away form isn't as good, so I'm not holding out too much hope that he'd get anything there anyway. And then the front three, of course, we've got Ollie Watkins, I've got Solanke, and then I've got Haaland. I probably will put the captaincy on Solanke, and especially where Haaland's had a quiet couple of weeks. I'd rather go for Solanke, get the full 180 minutes in some really, really nice fixtures rather than risking Haaland against Liverpool. And then on the bench, got Dubravka, Gordon, Estupiñán and Pinnock. There are a lot of issues with this team and I do need to sort out the defence, but next week I'll be free hitting, so we will fix the team better, is that English? We'll fix the team in game week 30, but for now this is how it is. I think I could be tempted to take another -4 and take out Ake, maybe for Doty, or I don't know, I've got 0.9 million in the bank. I could be tempted by a Van Dijk potentially. I'm not sure. That is something that I will discuss later on in my team selection video. But for now, this is how the team looks. So let me know in the comments. As always, give me your feedback, how you think it's looking and whether it's similar to yours, because I've seen a lot of teams recently that are very, very similar. So they are my early transfer thoughts. As always, share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and do like the video if you have enjoyed it. I've also started channel memberships, which are really, really fun. So do join if you would like some extra content or just to support the channel. It's very appreciated. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.